Hi dear friends, I'm Dr. Mukesh Pareek and I welcome you all to my Institute English Cosmos. This is my personal library. Yesterday I was delivering a lecture in my NET GRF class in the 5th unit section of linguistics that there was a question way back when they asked the question about this book, Guide to Patterns and Usage in English by A.S. Hornby. So I was just talking about the standard books of grammar with my students, and I was surprised that most of them did not know other than Wren and Martin. So first of all, Wren and Martin is not considered a standard book because it is not published from any university. Like most of the books, like suppose you look at this book, it's Oxford University Press. So either Cambridge or Oxford universities are considered to be authentic in publishing these kind of books, and these books deal in the standard English. Okay, so this book is very important because already the question appeared. Then another standard book is Raymond Murphy, Intermediate English Grammar, Reference and Practice for South Asian Students. So this title, second title, is not that much important, but it is from Cambridge University Press. So Intermediate English Grammar. You can also find standard of English in this. Standard here means what has been considered to be the international standard, not the substandard, like the translated version of English. Like we are Indians, so we tend to translate our English, Hindi into English. Then we have this book. There have been questions like, they ask you the names of the writers also. So these are some standard writers. A University Grammar of English, Randolph Quirk and Sidney Greenbaum. This is also a very important book. In this book, you find that they have been covering all the deeper aspects of adjectives, time and tenses, the difference between then the mood, and then different kind of usages. I just forgot to talk about that. These kind of grammar books, like what is the difference between this book and this book? This is a pure grammar book. They talk about all the rules and regulations. But here they are talking about patterns and usage. It means you will find more of the kind of sentences. So through sentences and patterns and usage, a student can master in this language. And what I was talking about, this book is purely a grammar book with exercise. Fourth book in this category is a Practical English Grammar by A.J. Thompson and Martinet. These two writers are also very famous. It is published from Oxford University Press. This is also considered to be the standard book where there are two sections of this book. One is the rule book and another one is the practice book. So you find all the competitive exams like SSC, even UPSC, CGL, CLAT. They have been asking questions from these kind of standard books. Things are not available on ChatGPT and others. So I would like to say that there is no alternate of these grammar books. Fifth book in this category is this English Grammar for Today, A New Introduction. So it is written by Geoffrey Leech. Friends, Geoffrey Leech is considered to be the very standard name in the grammar books. And second writer is Margaret Dusher, and the third writer is Robert. It is Huginrad. You can read the name. I'm sorry because something is wrong with my spectacles. So English Grammar for Today by Geoffrey Leech. It is actually now what is important in this book. When for RPSC you find that there are different kinds of sentence patterns they have been asking. They're asking for the analysis. They're asking for the applications of the word, discourses of the words, clauses, phrases, words, and the other things which are important, because grammar does not mean all the parts of speech, eight sections of part of speech. There are collocations important. There are other things in the grammar which you find in this book. Clear? And then there is one very famous book, that is English Idiom by Jennifer Seat. It is also published by Oxford University. Okay, so the people who published the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, they also publish this English idiom. So wherever you find any kind of idioms in the exam, they have been taking this from these idioms from this particular book. So this is also a standard book one should have. Apart from them, there is another book which has been quite famous, that is from Scott Thornbury, Natural Grammar. Okay, this is also quite famous. And then we have, in the section of now this is another, though I can't say that this is suggested by many teachers, but popularly read book, that is Word Power Made Easy, Norman Lewis. This is also, they can ask you this question also, because this is important. Clear? And then we have this Mother Tongue by Bill Brayson, a very famous book. Here he's talking about the concepts of mother tongue, native speaker, first language, dialects. Clear? And errors, like what is the technical definition of error. So this book is also is very important. So sometimes, in the section of linguistics for last two exam, students are confused from where the questions have appeared. So don't worry. If you join English Cosmos, you will find that, because I am MPhil in linguistics also. So I cater to the needs of both literature as well as linguistics. Clear? Uh, One more book I would like to talk about, and that is Modern Linguistics, an Introduction. This is an Indian edition. So S.K. Verma and N. Krishna Swamy. They can ask you this name also, because this is also very popular among Indian students and published by Oxford University Press. So don't underestimate being a post-colonial mind, or say colonial mind, that this is written by somebody. So they have been talking about all the theories of Chomsky, the transformational generative grammar. They're talking about Saussure. They're talking about the structural linguistics. They are also talking about the, as I told you, the framework of the transformational generative grammar. And then they are talking about different kinds of schools which are present in the applied linguistics also, and they are also dealing with the language teaching aspect. So that way, this is also a must. I teach, by accumulating knowledge from these books. Stay with me. I would also like to show you from my collection two important things. You can show me taking out this book. That is first Thesaurus. Another one is also there somewhere. I have to search it. Yeah, here it is. So when I was talking about Thesaurus with my students, most of them were confused, like, what is Thesaurus? I'm not showing you the dictionary part. They have already asked you a question regarding dictionary. Which dictionary? There are 2 to 3 dictionaries which are famous. Like, they asked a question once. Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, they asked the edition. They also asked the question like when it was first published. Another question they asked, like, for American English, which university is publishing a standard dictionary? So that is Macmillan. Now let us talk about Roget's Thesaurus. People are very much influenced by the vocabulary of Shashi Tharoor. So this is Roget's International Thesaurus. I have a very old edition, that is 3rd edition. Now you in the comment section search and tell me which edition is right now being distributed, because they ask you these kind of questions. Thesaurus is a compendium of all the standard synonyms and a whole gamut of antonyms. So this is also considered to be a must. You will be surprised that when I prepare my vocabulary sessions for the Hindu editorial session, I take recourse to these kind of books. Another one is from Penguin, because my teacher suggested way back to me that other than Roget's, you should also have another Thesaurus. So this is the Penguin Thesaurus. This is also, I also take help of these standard books. These are called standard books. So if you have never read Thesaurus, because dictionary gives you the meaning of a particular word, it's part of speech and its usage. But these books give you standard synonyms and their actual uses of the synonyms, like where they are to be used. So if you really want to make your English standard and want to qualify, want to get good marks in linguistics, these things are very, very important. That's it for today. Thank you very much.